Hundreds of Swedish forces arrive in Latvia in largest deployment with NATO to date. Associated Press. Hundreds of Swedish troops arrived in Latvia on Saturday to join a Canadian-led multinational brigade along NATO's eastern flank, a mission Sweden is calling its most significant operation so far as a member of the Western Defence Alliance. A ship carrying parts of a mechanized infantry battalion arrived early Saturday in the port of Riga, the Latvian capital, escorted by the Swedish Air Force and units from the Swedish and Latvian Navy. The Swedish Armed Forces said in a statement. Below are your comments. Smart move by Sweden and NATO. Putin isn't going to announce when he's about to retake the Baltic states, he's going to suddenly hold peacetime exercises near the border and then move in before anyone has a chance to react militarily. Putin thinks Russia owns those countries. I think Putin has learned that the standard Soviet war tactics of the past are now like 8-track tapes, which are also completely outdated. 2 new NATO members next door and a third coming. Wow. Just look at all of that winning. NATO could clear Ukraine of Russians in mere hours. All of Eastern Europe that's in NATO should mobilize and be ready for Russia. Not saying attack, but be ready to strike the moment Russia steps out of Ukraine. Also, be aware that Hungarian leader has forgotten about what happened in his nation in 1956 with regard to freedom and the Soviets. He may be a crack in the defensive lines. Good for NATO. Be wise NATO and strong and hold Putin accountable and keep him in check even if it means destroying him to do it. Well done, Sweden. Hope US maintains a strong NATO commitment over the next 4 years. Russia will always be Russia, but the Russian people have a history of being completely subservient to an elected official that will not leave office, and they need to change that. Of all of the old European kingdoms, Russia is the only failure. The only sword Russia can currently rattle is hypothetical. Even with General Milley proclaiming Russia's military strength, it can't defeat Ukraine. Western Europe heavily supported Ukraine's defense, while Biden wanted appeasement. To illuminate a bit about the numbers in the various groupings and numbers of soldiers in those groups. P.S. I will give some numbers of bodies in each group. These are highly flexible, but a typical number for each unit is: company equals 200 equals 3 to 5 platoons, battalion equals 1000 equals 3 to 5 companies, brigade equals 3000 equals 3 to 5 battalions, division equals 10K to 15,000 equals 3 to 5 battalions. As said above, these average numbers are very flexible. But I hope this might better help you with the actual number of boots on the ground. Great move by NATO states. First time anyone has called for Putin to show his cards. This is how it should be done, that NATO plan, decide and moved on its own leadership. While it's okay to not depend on US, it's a little concerning that the US might not be seen as a leader anymore. So Russia hasn't been able to take down Ukraine, which borders Russia. Why is anyone believing that all of Europe is at risk of falling to Russia, when they can't even be a tiny country? Having Sweden and Finland in NATO will haunt Putin until the day he dies. The Swedes, Finns, and Norwegians know more about fighting Russia than most others. This trio does not back down. Sweden. Stand proud, you are not alone in this world of King Tuts securing their thrones with threats. NATO stands tall. Thank you Sweden and Canada. US needs to help Finland, Sweden. This exactly how World War II started, we just kept looking the other way. Russia is sabotaging communication cables on the ocean floor. Russia doesn't get it. When the whole world is against you, then something's wrong with your country. The Canadians, Australians, Native Americans and Gurkhas have always been there for all the right reasons. Patriotism defined. Smart move by Sweden and NATO, because Trump will side with Putin, and no matter how we Americans are willing to help, Trump will sabotage all efforts. None of this would be happening without the Putin's senseless invasion of Ukraine. NATO is finally moving players on the board. Increase sanctions on Russia until it is reduced to an economic wasteland. It must be like some Pathfinder holiday camp in a neighboring country, bivouacking, barbecue party. Brushing one's teeth at the river, taking a bath once a week if lucky, and speaking a foreign language with one's foreign Pathfinder opposite numbers. It's just fun. How serious can that be when most of the Latvians have abandoned their insignificant grassy and forested little country in search of paid work in developed countries in Western Europe? Latvia can draft a few thousand of its men. Its defense budget is above €1 billion. 1 in 4 of its citizens is living abroad. Latvia is a failed state. There is nothing to attract any invader and nothing to protect. Enjoy our Payton Powell Jamboree. Canada is 6th from the bottom in funding self-defense, 1.4% of GDP in 2023. WW3. Slow start and a fast finish. No more Putin and no more Russia. Russians really messed up allowing Putin to take the entire nation hostage. Inconsequential rhetoric from inconsequential states. The world only has freedom and prosperity because of the United States of America. It is the threat of military force, or the use of military force by the United States of America that keeps the world free, safe and prosperous. It is simply that. There is no one else. If the United States were to disappear tomorrow, the world would decay into darkness almost overnight. Start mining that border. Don't let them sit around in the barracks. I guess they did not learn a lesson of Carl 12. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.